Hey everybody, welcome to another battle report. This one is 4,500 points of Warriors of the Dark Gods with my friend Jake against 4,500 points of my Saurian Ancients. I've taken a list that I saw from the ETC tournament. I think it was a Dutch list. I've tweaked it slightly just to see how it goes. We are preparing for a tournament here in Suzhou in China. Just a small local tournament, 8 players. So I was considering running this list and wanted to see how it went. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so this is deployment. Apologies for the dark lighting. We weren't playing at the usual place that I do battle reports. We were in the back room of a sports bar. Bit of a strange place to play Warhammer, but there you go. Bit dark in there. Right, deployment then. So let's start on my side. Over here, on the side here, we've got a unit of Rampadon Riders, then 5 Saurian Warriors, 1 of my Scar Veterans. This one's the General. He's got a 4 ward save. Another 10 Warriors, Stygiosaur, 10 Warriors, a Stygiosaur, 10 Warriors, a Stygiosaur, 10 Warriors, 2 more Veterans. One's got a 5 up ward, the other's got a 6 up and distracting. And then another unit of Rampadon Riders. Oh, and just here, a little bit difficult to see, but that's my Skink Captain there. On Jake's side, he's got the Blood Beast here, unit of Warhounds here, Chosen of Lust here, Chosen of Wrath. He's got his Barbarians with his Barbarian Chief in there. He's got his Dragon Centaurs at the back here, Mauler Chariot here. He's got his Barbarian Horse here. And he's got his Demon Prince on the side here. That is deployment. Okay, so my movement turn 1 then. Brought the veterans over here, put them together into one unit to come after the Blood Beast. I've taken the Rampadon Riders over on both flanks. They vanguarded and I got first turn because I deployed most units first. So they can't charge, so that's why they're there. I've got my General, who's got a 4 up ward and a 1 up rerollable armor save here, and 10 Saurian Warriors going after the secondary objective here. So this is fairly strong. Not sure I can hold a Demon Prince, but we'll see. Chaffing the chaff with my Skink Captain here, and then everything else is kind of making this encircling motion here. I'm hoping to get multiple swarm of insects on this unit here. This is quite far forward, so I'm thinking I can possibly do some damage against this one before I have to deal with the others. So I'm wondering if I can turn Jake's Vanguard to my advantage. So that's the end of my movement turn 1. So end of my turn 1 then, not a lot happening. All my shooting failed miserably, which is very depressing. And I managed to cause 7 wounds from 3 swarms of insects on the Barbarian. So I've put a fair dent in this unit, which I'm fairly happy with. And that is the end of my turn 1. Okay, Jake's turn 1 then. He declared a charge with his Blood Beast and failed, so that only went 1 inch. That was very rubbish. And other than that, he charged at my Skink Captain with the dogs. The Skink Captain killed 1 on the stand and shoot, so that was a minor moral victory. The horsemen over here have actually kind of swung round to threaten my Rampadon Riders. The princes advanced, the chosen have sort of advanced, the chariot and the dragon centaurs seem to be heading towards this secondary objective over here. And these chosen are coming to the secondary objective here, so pretty good play really on Jake's part, all looking good. That's the end of Jake's movement 1. Okay, end of Jake's turn 1 then. Jake doesn't have any wizards, so there's no magic. He's got very little shooting. I think he might have done a wound on one of the Rampadon Riders here with his hand weapons, but that's about it. The only real thing that happened was the dogs were beaten in combat. They broke, but they outran my Skink Captain, so he's hot in pursuit here. So that is the end of Jake's turn 1. Okay, my movement turn 2 then, so let's get a start on this side of the board. So my 2 veterans have charged into combat against the Blood Beast over here. My Rampadon riders have charged into the Chosen of Lust here. My Rampadon riders have charged into the Dragon Centaurs here. Now, I normally wouldn't charge Rampadon riders into Dragon Centaurs because Dragon Centaurs are hitting them on 3s, wounding them on 2s, but the Rampadon riders have got the Prey Scent mark on this unit, so they should get D3 extra attacks each on top of their 2 and Frenzy with Strength 4, Armor Piercing, and rerolls to hit. So I'm hoping I can do a little bit of damage to this unit. In the middle, I've charged at this unit of Chosen of Wrath with 1 unit of Saurian Warriors, and I've got the Troglodon in there as well. So I'm thinking I can use a Predatory Roar, give myself rerolls to hit, try and boost them with some magic, a few stomps, a few poison hits, see how we do there. I've backed up a little bit here. I'm going to try and keep this Prince occupied with this unit for as long as I can. I don't want him charging my general. My general wouldn't do well against him, so that's that. Made a real mistake here, though. I've exposed the flank of this unit to the chariot. Didn't even see it, just got carried away in the game, so that was a really silly mistake. I've brought these 2 Stygiosaurs into breath weapon range on the Barbarians because I didn't feel I did enough damage on them last time, so I'm hoping to get double Swarm and double breath weapon on this unit. So that's that. And over here the captain charged the dogs. The dogs were already fleeing, so they ran away and he caught them, which is why he's all the way over there. So that's the end of my movement 2. Okay, so this is the end of my turn 2 then. I didn't manage to get any spells off. Jake dispelled 1 and used the Crown of Thorns or Crown of something or other to dispel the other. I managed to do 11 wounds on the Barbarians with breath weapons when we got into the shooting phase. In the combat phase, though, it was absolutely ridiculous. The Chosen got 9 hits on my guys here, even though they were parrying on 4s, and all 9 hits became 9 wounds. So that was absolutely insane. The Stygiosaur then used his breath weapon, got 2 hits with his breath weapon out of a possible 12, and 0 wounds. The Warriors did 5 hits on the Chosen, despite hitting on 4s with Hatred, and those 5 hits turned into 1 wound. So this was an absolute farce in the middle. And the Stygiosaur broke, which caused this unit of warriors to fail their cold-blooded leadership 8 as well. So this has been an absolute joke in the middle. Rampadon riders did only 1 wound against the Dragon Centaurs. That was another absolute joke. They should have been hitting on 3s or 4s. The Prey Scent gave them 1 extra attack each out of a possible D3. Most of them missed, in spite of the fact that they get rerolls. And those that hit, I think I hit with about 5 or 6, and I only got 1 wound. So that was absolutely rubbish. Jake didn't remember to reform here, which was a little bit of a mistake, but he did remember to reform here. Over on the far side of the battlefield here, I managed to do 3 wounds to the Blood Beast. Jake did 1 back to one of my veterans, but the Blood Beast held. So that was the end of Jake's turn. My turn 2. Okay, so Jake's movement turn 2 then. He's charged at the warriors with what's left of the barbarians. I'm happy to accept that charge. I think I should be able to slog it out against them. He's charged the Demon Prince at 1 unit of Saurian warriors. I fled, so then he redirected into the other unit of Saurian warriors. I decided to hold at this point because I wanted him to commit to them, because I felt he would charge with the chariot, which he did, and then I fled from the chariot. So that's kept the Demon Prince. That's keeping him here, and the chariots, I think, might have redirected. Yeah, he did. The chariot redirected into the Stygiosaur, who elected to flee. So I'm doing a lot of fleeing over here, and this army isn't really made for fleeing, but there you go. Other than that, the Chosen is still in combat here. He's coming for a charge with the Barbarian Horse here around the back. So we've got a failed charge here, and I think that's about it for the end of Jake's movement 2. Okay, so end of Jake's turn 2 then. So combat against the 2 Scar Veterans didn't go well for it. It dropped and they reformed, so they'll be able to charge next turn. The Rampodons against the Chosen got only 3 hits and 0 wounds, which is remarkable when you think they're hitting on 4s and wounding on 4s. So that was very disappointing. The Chosen, on the other hand, hitting on 3s, got 11 out of 12 hits, and took the Rampodons down to 1 guy with 1 wound. So that was a bit of a mathematical anomaly. Over here, the Rampodons were predictably crushed by the incoming Barbarian Horse and the Dragon Centaurs, so they shouldn't have really got into that situation so much. They should have done a bit more damage before dying, but they were going to die sooner or later. In the middle here, it was also depressing. My warriors did 1 wound against the Chosen, in spite of me using a predatory roar, giving them hatred again with rerolls. So me and the dice were not friends at this point. So yeah, that was the end of Jake's turn 2. Okay, so on to my turn 3 then. I've charged with the veterans on the Chosen to save this Rampodon rider so that the unit gets decimated rather than destroyed. So the Chosen have fled, causing my veterans to fail a charge. That was my only charge. I was a little fortunate that all my fleeing units here rallied, although these were cold-blooded 8 and these are cold-blooded 6. So I thought 1 might break, but they didn't. They all rallied, so that was quite good. So the battle in the middle kind of continues over here. The Barbarians took 4 wounds. I took 1, but they held. So this fight actually seems to be going on for quite a long time. This unit have got the mark of pestilence on them, so they're a bit hard to hit. Other than that, I brought my general round here to threaten the cavalry here, and I've moved my captain round, so I'm thinking to get a double charge on them. And I've brought my Stygiosaur down the hill here, so what I'm thinking to do is possibly get some swarm of insects on them. So that's the plan. That's the end of my movement turn 3. Just a quick look at the end of the turn, where you can see there, that's the grind that I just mentioned going on in the middle. So that's the end of my turn 3. So this is Jake's movement turn. I hadn't done any damage to this unit with my swarm of insects, and they managed to charge the Stygiosaur because it had rallied on the hill, so they could see it. So there's a charge there from the Chosen of Wrath onto my Stygiosaur. The unit of Chosen here have rallied. The Demon Prince has charged into my Saurian warriors. Now this time I didn't want to flee because I thought I might end up kind of dominoing off the board. So I'm taking the charge now. We're into turn 3, so I'm holding him up fairly well so far. The Mauler Chariot can't see either of these units to charge it because its vision's blocked by the hill, so it has moved forwards. The Dragon Centaurs actually failed their leadership test with the Skink Captain preventing them from marching, so they've just moved along here. And the Barbarian Horse have kind of prevented my general from slipping through and coming after these guys, but actually I wouldn't come after them anyway. So I think this was a mistake from Jake, because what I was actually playing to attack the Barbarian Horse here. So he's handed those to me a little bit. And I think that's it for Jake's turn 3. Okay, so that was the end of Jake's movement turn 3, and then this is the end of Jake's actual turn 3. Let's have a look at my notes here. So these chosen here got 100% hit ratio on my Stygiosaur, and they should have been hitting on 2, so they should have done quite well, but maybe not 100%. That was a bit depressing. And 8 wounds on the Stygiosaur. It's 5+ armor save. I needed to make, it's got 5 wounds, so I needed to make at least 4 of them, but I failed 7 out of 8 wounds on a 5+, so that again was a bit depressing. So the Stygiosaur has died here, and Jake has reformed to face back up the hill. One of the Saurian warriors survived and managed to kill off the last of the barbarians, so that's kind of all holding up in the middle there. The Demon Prince beat the warriors, who broke and fled, but they escaped the board edge by a single inch. So that's the end of Jake's turn 4. Okay, so on to my turn 4 then. I've made 2 charges, well, 3 charges really. These 2 charges over here, one on the flank, one on the front of the Barbarian Horseman. This is my General and my Skink Captain. And then I've charged here with the Stygiosaur on the Barbarian Chief. The idea being that I can overrun into the Mauler. Odds are I should beat the Mauler with a flank and a charge. And it'll also prevent the Dragon Centaurs from being able to get at this unit too easily. So that was the idea there. On this side, I have wheeled a full 8 inches, bringing the edge of my unit onto the hill, which means that when this unit charges it, then this unit, which is coming into support, will be able to see them because they'll be on the hill. Over here, I've moved the veterans up, but I didn't charge because I didn't want this unit to be able to flee away from them. So I've moved them up. They're going to have to charge or be charged. And over here, my Saurian warriors have rallied. On this side of the board here, I've got 1 unit of Saurian warriors who are using the hill as cover. So I'm advancing towards this secondary objective here. And what I'm hoping is that if this unit of Dragon Centaurs want to come and get me, they're going to have to spend turn 4 coming onto the hill, turn 5 killing me, and I don't know whether they'll be able to make it here in turn 6. So I'm wondering if I can delay their advance onto this secondary objective here. That is it for my movement turn 4. Okay, so end of my turn 4 then. The General and the Skink Captain smashed through the horse here. Fortunately, the General only overran 9 inches and the Dragon Centaurs were 10 inches away, so he stopped just in front of them. I did not want to overrun into that unit. That would have been a disaster. It was the Skink Captain who actually caught the horseman on the pursuit roll, so that was good. Elsewhere in the turn, I got Swarm of Insects off on this unit of Chosen and killed 1. Very exciting there. The Stygiosaur killed the 1 Barbarian Chief and overran into the Mauler, so that's a new charge. So I directed my charge so that I was on the corner here, which puts him out of the arc of vision of the dragon centaurs. And that is the end of my turn 4. Okay, Jake's turn 4 then. So the Demon Prince has gone after the 5 Saurian warriors here. I'm perfectly happy for this to happen. This is a 190 point unit. We're on turn 4 and the Demon Prince has killed half of it. So they're doing a good job of keeping him busy. The Chosen have gone after this unit here. We moved the unit just up a little bit because the models would have fallen all over the place if we hadn't. So that's why they're like that. The Chosen have come in against my 2 Scar Veterans here, and the Dragon Centaurs have moved so as to make a supporting charge if the Mauler holds. But if I'm honest, I don't think it will at this point in the game. So that is the end of Jake's movement 4. Okay, so end of Jake's turn 4 then, and the dice have changed their minds about me and have started going my way now. So the warriors over here lost combat by 3, but managed to hold the Demon Prince. So the Demon Prince is going to be fighting the first unit of warriors in turn 5. So I'm really happy about this. So that's great news over there. Over here, the warriors hold the attack of the Chosen. I took 1 wound. I think the Chosen took 1 wound, but they won with a charge and a standard, but I didn't break, so that was good. The Mauler broke against the Stygiosaur. The Stygiosaur did, I think, 3 wounds to it, took 1 itself, so it ran, and I chased. Keep in mind that we are currently in Jake's turn, so I'm going to get to charge it again subsequently, which will mean that I'll be out of the arc of vision of this great big unit here. Over in combat over here, the Chosen predictably got pulverized by the Scar Veterans, but still managed to hold. So that's the end of Jake's turn 4. Okay, so on to my turn 5 then. I can feel the sort of the ebb and flow of the battle swinging back in my favour now at this point. So I've charged at the Mauler, which has fled. It fled 9 inches, which brought it within an inch of the Demon Prince. So it went over the Demon Prince, came out the other side, which meant that part of the model was over the board edge, so it died. I've moved the 1 Saurian warrior here to block the path to the Stygiosaur with this unit of Dragon Centaurs, so they're going to have to kind of come down here and take that out. And I've charged into this unit of Chosen with this other Stygiosaur here, so that's that. With the Dragon Centaurs now committed to going this way because they can't get around the model here, so they're going to have to engage on this point here, which means they're coming this way. That has meant that I can go up towards the secondary objective with this unit here. I've brought the 1 remaining Rabdon Rider and the Skink Captain over here in case I want to block this unit a bit more later on. We'll see about that. So that's the end of my movement 5. Okay, end of my turn 5 here then. So the Stygiosaur and the Saurian warriors finished off the Chosen, which was to be expected if we're quite honest. And the Chosen here were finished off by the veterans again, that's to be expected. And finally over here, the Demon Prince finished off the Saurian warriors here, which was also to be expected. So that was the end of my turn 5. Which meant, of course, that Jake could reform this unit in my turn and then charge with it in his own turn. So, yeah, there you go. End of my 5. Okay, so this is Jake's movement 5. What I forgot to mention earlier is that in the few rounds of combat that the Saurian warriors have had, they've been shaving wounds off this Demon Prince. So I think it's down to 1 wound at this point, which is why he's not engaged in combat. So he's kind of flown over here to stay out of the arc of vision a little bit there. Now I think we missed one or more photographs at this point. Wouldn't be a battle report without at least one photograph missed, would it? But what had happened was that the Dragon Centaurs smashed through the warrior in the middle on their charge. So that was why this unit is now here. And that was it for Jake's turn 5. So Jake's got the Demon Prince and the Dragon Centaurs left on the board. And I've got bits and pieces of units, but my characters and two of my Stygiosaurs are intact at the moment. So yeah, that's the end of Jake's turn 5, on to my turn 6. So I think actually the last photo that was on the screen was actually my movement phase. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, we'll just go with where we are. So not a lot's happened really. I can see these Dragon Centaurs are heading towards a secondary objective. I don't expect to be able to beat them, so I have just backed up, try and bring a bigger distance in here. I've brought this Stygiosaur towards the Demon Prince. I'm hoping I can get Swarm of Insects on it. It's only got one wound left. So yeah, that's kind of the idea there. I wonder whether I made a mistake over here by putting that one Saurian warrior so that this unit was angled this way, because I've actually brought them towards this secondary objective rather than kind of, I could have possibly brought them towards the hill, which they couldn't have seen through, maybe something like that. Anyway, so this was, I think, the end of my turn. I didn't get the Swarm of Insects, which has meant that the Demon Prince is decimated but not destroyed. So yeah, there you go. That's the end of my turn 6. Okay, so this is Jake's movement turn 6, and oh, it's not going well. It suddenly swung again. I wondered whether he would gamble with his Demon Prince with one wound. He did. He's charged into the flank of these Saurian warriors. Can they hold? This is a monster, so it has 1 rank, so he only has to kill 1 for them to not be steadfast. And the secondary objective is important here. And he has made this charge. This was a 13-inch charge. So he had about a 50-50 chance of making it, but he has made it. So he's contesting this secondary objective, and 7 Saurian warriors probably won't do very well against 5 Dragon Centaurs. So, I'm a bit nervous at this point. End of Jake's movement 6. Okay, and this is the end of turn 6, and you can see it's not gone well at the end. The warriors over here were beaten in combat and broke, so they count as being dead, and the warriors over here were killed off by the Dragon Centaurs. So just at the last minute, Jake manages to take the secondary objectives, and that swung the game from a 13-7 in my favour to a 10-10 draw. So there you go. I really enjoyed this game, actually. I thought it was really good. I was frustrated for large parts of the game early on when the dice just seemed to be absolutely dead set against me, but then it kind of swung back in my favour a little bit later. I think we both made a few mistakes throughout the game, and we both got most things right. So it's a really promising sign for the quality of the games that we're having, especially if you compare them to some of the earlier ones. So yeah, really good game this one. Finishes with a 10-10 draw. Congratulations to Jake. I know he's quite happy with that result. He's only been playing for just under a year, really, so yeah, he should be justifiably happy with that. Well done, mate. Good game. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.